Hey folks, Lieutenant Fisher back with another capsule review for the ongoing Summer in Paris themed programming at Violet Crown Cinemas. So this is just a quick little recap on the last week and looking forward to this next week. The next full review should still be out on Thursday, but it all depends on my schedule this weekend since I'm a little bit busier with some other work. But let's just go over the two films that were playing this past week. You had Diva and then Panique. And both of these were really a lot of fun to watch. And I think one of the things I enjoyed about this most was that I went into both of these films completely cold. I think I might have seen, aside from the poster pics that I posted during the previous video, this was probably, I might have seen a sentence or two synopsis on IMDb when I was digging, and nothing else. This is the first time I have watched two movies back to back in theaters without even looking up a trailer or anything else. I mean, there are some 2-second clips from some of the promo videos that Violet Crown had put out, but aside from that, I had no idea about the actual plot and the actual characters and the whole setup for either one of these, and that made these a blast. On the one hand, it was a safer bet than, say, walking into a movie theater in this day and age for a new release and just taking your chances, because these are obviously been established films. Panic came out in the 40s, 1946, and Diva came out in 1981, and obviously they wouldn't have been chosen for a special program like this unless they were solid. But on the other hand, it's still a relatively limited experience for me. It's not the normally I am familiar. I've seen at least a couple trailers to get my interest up, but as they were part of a larger project that I was already interested in seeing, it was like bonus. And I can definitely say both Diva and Panic are definitely worth looking up. Diva, hard to really pin it down, but that's part of what makes it really good. On the one hand, you have some real punk and indie sensibilities. On the other hand, you have some beautiful, beautiful opera singing and some great performances musically, and some really interesting characters, some very unique artistic characters. And it's really an interesting mesh, maybe preceding some of what we get in the late 90s and early 2000s of violence and action with a artistic tinge. And I'll have to explore it more in the future. And I will have to look and see, but at the moment, I don't believe there's a Blu-ray edition available of this. It may be out on DVD somewhere else. I have not done any research. I just watched it a couple nights ago and haven't had time with my schedule to look up anything else. Panic, on the other hand, is jumping way back to 1946, directly post-war, black and white. Some movies I haven't seen, but I've read a bunch of reviews of recently. Some of the early English language Fritz Lang films. There were it's really a sort of, not to give too much away, but it's a bit of a justice denied sort of noir trope. It's not really a noir, but some of the performances and some of the themes are noir-ish, especially for the French period, which was definitely a little behind the US noir and crime films at the time, based on themes and everything else. But this is highly recommended as well if you have a chance to look it up. I will post some links in the future if I can find a Netflix information or Amazon or anything else. But Panic is gorgeous, and it was a very nice presentation, highly recommended, and some really good performances. So I will definitely recommend that one as well. Now, looking forward to this next week, we have Eyes Without a Face, which is a very good medical horror, sort of even though it's black and white, it's really it had some very moments of controversy and some censorship issues when it first came out, just because of the black and white gore that it depicted, even limited though it was. And it's a very iconic and some of the graphic imagery is extremely memorable. And I highly recommend this. This is already out on Blu-ray and DVD in the US. The Criterion Collection Blu-ray is excellent. For all I know, that's actually the presentation they're going to use. The screener, maybe, that they use, but we'll wait and see. The second movie for this upcoming week is Alphaville, which I own on DVD, the Criterion Collection again, but I haven't watched it in quite a while. I am looking forward to seeing it in the big screen, that's for sure. It's a very, again, interesting it's a science fiction, noir, detective sort of theme that I recall, with a sort of pre-Decker trench coat detective investigating a computer in a futuristic city. And it really goes more the artistic style than the full sci-fi action style. And what I remember is some of the action scenes themselves are extremely stylized, as in frame by frame, or almost a series of static images to cover the fight scenes, it was a very interesting take on it. And it's definitely less vibrant and less active than similar types of films from the era, but it's also very iconic in some of the imagery and some of the settings and just the themes in general. So I'm definitely looking forward to examining that one again, since it's been so long since I last watched it, even though I own it, which is pretty sad. So I'll hit both of those up this week, and I will hopefully have another follow-up video this next weekend on it in advance. So again, you have 4 movies left. If you are in Charlottesville, Santa Fe, or Austin. And I know at the theater I've been attending, there have been a couple empty seats at least in every screening so far at the 7 p.m. screens. So you cannot miss. This is highly recommended. It's a great bargain to catch some great flicks at a very reasonable price. So highly recommend it if you have a chance to make it to Violet Crown Cinema Tuesdays and Thursdays for the next 2 weeks. And that about covers it for me. Movie fans, have a nice weekend. Lieutenant Fish, out.